This is Fam Electric Ghost, and we're live on the air with Bryan Louzil for the first time. Welcome to the Fam Electric Ghost podcast. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
We like to talk to people from all around the world. We've been doing our podcast since 2016. We talk to people who are creative people who are, out there basically with their vision. And we like to give a free format to have an open discussion about that vision. So we're going to talk today about supporting independent filmmakers and what you're doing with your website and your podcast. So before we get to the heart of your story, though, I always like to ask a couple questions on like what motivates you and why do you do what you do?
Man, that is a loaded question, Phantom. And as far as what drives me every day and what makes me motivated to do what I do, I love supporting creators. Very similar to yourself, coming on this, having your platform. We started Mometu in order to help support independent creators and underserved filmmakers, and that gives me the drive every single day. And actually, that stems from my parents actually being filmmakers themselves. So back in their day, they didn't have streaming like we have today, the accessibility, the discoverability, and it's much easier to bridge that gap today because of streaming. And so when we created Mometu, it was one of those things that, hey, we're here to support these creators, to help support these underserved filmmakers who scrounge money together to make a film, and they have no money for marketing. They don't know how to get their film out there.
Yeah.
We become that opportunity to where they could get up, and whether they get onto other streaming services or not, there's another thing that separates us, and that I'll get into that later. But yeah, that drives me every single day, just to really help support these filmmakers. And when we get the chance to talk to them about their successes and the opportunities that have come from, whether it be being on Mometu for the first time, having their film up, maybe it's on other platforms as well, but then just things that have come about because of what we're doing on the service, what we're doing with the film festival that I founded, and also obviously, like you mentioned before, the podcast as well, given a little bit more visibility for a few creators that I've had on the platform for that podcast is. So yeah.
It started as like a college film festival, and then you kind of segged into putting it online. Is that how it started?
No, so Mometu is a streaming service.
Oh, okay.
So Mometu is an app you can download on your smart TV at home, your Roku, your Fire TV, Apple TV, your Samsung, your Vizio, whatever. You can also, and that's only if you're in North America. So I'm not sure if there's a listeners worldwide that are tapping in. Got to get creative on how to get to the platform on your end, but we also have it on mobile, so you can. Yeah, I can't say it, but you can you can download it on your mobile device too. And it's an app on your phone, and like you mentioned, it is a website, right? So you go to mometu.com or scan the QR code I think that you have on the screen or what you see on the bottom there. You can get to it
right there.
And you go to Mometu, you can find out what devices it's available on for where you are, and you can start streaming, content. We have over 10,000 titles that we have available as far as movies and shows, and even some of the podcasts that are up there as well. But we even have one stand-up comedy special. We just tapped into the stand-up comedy world too, so really excited about that.
So
About a couple months ago.
That's cool. So you allow the stand-up comedians to actually compete? Or is it
to put their specials on our service to have find more eyeballs. Yeah. The ones that have specials on there. Yeah, we have that. So but either way, you can find it, you can download it, you can do all that stuff. And then from that, I took it a step further and I said, how can I actually help these up and coming filmmakers even earlier on? And even going after a demographic that we're looking for as far as like younger users.
Yeah.
Was supporting them when they're in school,
like students. So that's where the festival came about. It didn't.
Yeah, so
it was like the other way around. I was thinking maybe that started it, but you actually
no. This has been a kind of a supporter to the service, but at the same time a support to the up and coming filmmakers. So we've been out to the public as far as Mometu, the streaming service, been out to the public since October of 23. So it's been a little over 2 years. And we had our first film festival in December of 23, and our second one in June of 24, and then we just had our third one in July of 26 to kind of closely more align with the school schedule and making sure that these filmmakers that are, getting these films done for their senior showcases or junior showcases or whatever could have them ready for the summertime. And so this is a film festival that is giving eyeballs to, these filmmakers like more than they could have ever imagined.
Wow.
In this last
That's always,
festival, we had 83 films from the selected from 38 different colleges and universities across North America, and a couple from Canada, mostly US though. And these films were up on the platform for 30 days. We had over 500,000 minutes streamed of these short films. No other film festival can say that they've had that many people see these short films, specifically college-made films. So giving them the opportunity to be on a streaming service, first of all, that's just really cool.
yeah.
Second
Like,
of all, if they're in a certain geographical region, we had some students from like Georgia and Florida, and they may have friends and family and all this stuff that they say in California across the entire part of the
gives an
country,
opportunity
right?
for a wider audience,
It gives them an opportunity to share it with their friends and family that may not have been able to see it, at a screening in person. So great opportunity to just exposure to build that up. And we've even built it up even further to where one of the filmmakers was selected this year. We had a company that put together 25 grand to give to the winning filmmaker that of the film that was selected, and their short film is being developed into a feature film.
Oh, wow. So you do have like awards or people
Yep.
like,
We have 7 categories, so we had 83 films, 7 categories. The 7 winners were invited to Hollywood. Their films were screened live at a Harmony Gold, which is a very popular venue in Hollywood that
mhm.
so many premieres happen there. And so we did there. It's a 330 person theater. We did a red carpet for these students. We had Miss World America was doing our red carpet interviews, which was really cool. And we had a Q&A on stage after their films were screened. We gave out audience award, best picture, producer's pick. There was a bunch of cash and prizes. There was this opportunity for this one student, obviously, to have their film, turned into a feature film. So the dude's 23. He's making his first feature film based off of his short. We're helping him develop it into that feature, and he gets to make it with no debt.
Wow.
So
So do you have, when you have that kind of showing, do you have industry people come to that or
yeah,
is it
yeah, we've had industry people come, producers, directors, writers, different people in industry, distribution partners. We had TCL was our best picture sponsor this past year. So TCL was there. They gave away like a 65 or 75-inch television to the best picture winner as well. So that was really awesome. Great partnership there. We had Cutwater Spirits, so they would canned cocktails. We had like beverages for everyone as well, but a bunch of other partners as far as distribution partners that were there. So many to name right now, but it was just a great festival, and I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to 2026 for our 4th festival. It's going to be a lot more fun. We're going to have so many more schools involved, more students involved, and again, if we can just continue to support these filmmakers in different ways by the different cash and prizes and really just the awareness
yeah.
of their film, like getting their film out there. And even for a filmmaker, let's just say they're an undergraduate and they're trying to get into their master's program at a other school like USC master's program or something like that, or Chapman University or NYU or wherever. Something like this is maybe
Oh, it's
something where
gonna
they're like, hey,
yeah.
I won this festival, and at the same time my film got screened this many times by this many people on the streaming service. Like that could be the differentiator between them getting into the school versus someone else. So
Well, I think
we're just
it's really important to give like, new artists, because sometimes like what happens in the industry, like you have these known quantities, these known directors, these known people, and it's the
yeah.
same thing with music. Like I've always been a big proponent of like the college radio scene and the underground independent scene
Yep.
because it's like I feel that's where all the energy is, that's where all the creativity is. So if you can get to where that scene is, like you would think about like the scene in
Yeah.
Seattle, like Sub Pop, was like they had all these indie bands,
Yep.
and Nirvana happened to be one of them, but there was a lot of other ones, right? And
Yep.
there was a whole scene of like these indie bands that were just expressing themselves
Yep.
and giving them a platform to express themselves. I think it's super important to let people know that you give a permission structure and you're maybe of a sort of a gatekeeper, but you allow these people to enter that
Yep.
maybe wouldn't have got the opportunity to get into, into a streaming service way
Yeah, I mean,
before they
it was the
would have.
same thing, and same thing with the kind of the history of hip hop and rap and how that all came about with the streets in New York, and getting to the point of giving these rappers opportunity to just get a platform for it with a mic and recording their music and getting it out there, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we got East Coast rap, West Coast rap, we got rap, rap and hip hop all over the country that needs to be heard, and yet if it wasn't for that initial push, right, that initial person to get that opportunity back in the really the mid 80s, rough for the most part, early 80s, mid 80s, we wouldn't have what we have today, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have grown globally. So 100 you're 100% right. People just need the opportunity to be heard, be seen, have their story told. And to be honest, when you talk to, these really well-known directors like you mentioned, right? The Christopher Nolans, the Paul Thomas Andersons, the Steven Spielbergs, the Benicio del Toro. Like we have all these people that are John Carpenter, right?
Yeah,
Like
Tarantino, he kind of started his
Tarantino, Quentin Tarantino. Like
career.
there's so many uh, filmmakers that are out there, right? But these top filmmakers that are winning, the top awards, right? The Academy Awards, and these are people that if you go back into their history, they're going to tell you that, yeah, I've had this story, right? Like maybe one of the films that made it, like put them on the map,
Mhm.
they had that story since college.
Yeah,
They
his
had that
artwork,
written
like,
out, that they've been working on the script for 10, 15, 20 years. Like people think like they watch a movie, they hear a song, whatever it is, that it just happened to be like during that time. Like, no, these people have been sitting on these
they sit on a
ideas
lot. Like
for
artists, like where
years.
they're phenoms. A lot of times when you talk to creative people, whether you're a painter, musician, dancer, you start showing capability really young. And a lot of times when you're like 17, 18,
Yeah.
you've got complete thoughts in your head. You might not know how to execute it, but you've got these visions and you already started to put the 10,000 hours in. You might have started when you're 13 on a piano, or
Yeah.
you might have started trying to do film with whatever source you had when you start the painting. You people just, they feel that they have to. A lot of
Yep.
artists is like they have to do the work, whether they were going to hit it or not. They just do it. And when you can give people that safe space to actually present it,
Mhm.
I think that because we need to see the next thing. And if
Yeah.
we just repeat the algorithm or only repeat what we know,
Mhm.
I get bored with that. I wanna know where the fresh ideas are coming from.
Absolutely, and not to give Kanye a platform, but, like, to see his story was really inspiring because he got the opportunity to do, like, it was like a open mic poetry session where then some of the lyrics that he used from that spoken word kinda poetry slam, he then turned into, some of the songs that were from his first album that really put him on the map,
Mhm.
right? So, like, these ideas were on paper long, long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, Eminem talks a lot about that with his songs too, is that these ideas have been written in books for years and years and years, and you just have to wait for the right opportunity to use that line, use that hook, use that idea, right? To put it down into a song and get it out to people. So, but again, going back to film, this is something where these college students, they have fresh ideas. They have stuff that's relevant to today, and instead of just writing it and giving it up to someone, because of streaming, because of the ability to get a film made now, I mean, there's people making films with iPhones,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, the
the
access.
the the
Like,
barrier to entry is so much easier in a sense to just make content. Now it's about getting it out there. So part of that is why we're so passionate about Mometu, is that we're able to bring forth these films that they may not have a massive budget, but we're giving them an opportunity to be seen, and that's all it takes. I mean, one of our
sometimes it's
top
nice.
performing.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
it's
sorry.
sometimes it's not the budget, it's the story. Like, if you ever like, when you're a good
100%.
writer, if you're a good writer, and if you're a
Yep.
good actor, you don't need a lot of artifice, right? If you can actually if the actor you've got and the director and the writer, they put the work in.
Yeah.
You could have the lowest budget ever, but if it speaks to people, and this is kind of like the same thing in music, it's like you can have all this artifice, you could use the Neve board, you could have like $10,000, $30,000 mic, but the kid who had like the Sears Roebuck mic, but he's got the passion and he's got a really good idea. Producers, we'll pick that over the other thing if it's really kicking, it's a hitting
Yeah,
because
because you can take it and redo it and
I can
make it
always
better
fix
once
it.
you give them the equipment, the idea, and
Yeah,
the right studio, right, and the right mix and everything. 100%. I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
So
you look at films, you got, the Blair Witch Project. You look at Terrifier, which, is now a massive horror hit. You have the Blair Witch Project.
yeah, that was
Like even if you look at oh gosh, I'm blanking on Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah, or Clerks, like when Clerks came out, was kind
Yeah,
of, or the early Tarantino films, like when
100%. And
it's like
nowadays you got people that are just putting stuff on YouTube and creating their own YouTube channels and getting millions of hits. I mean, my 3-year-old son watches a family of like 6 or 7 that all they do is they shoot basketballs, they do bottle flips, they do things with ping pong and shots with cups and all these things, and they've been doing it since 2016. Like, I look back at the history of like how long they've been doing this. I mean, it's 10 years, and their episodes get millions of downloads. And
yeah,
so like
same
that's
thing.
how all these kids are paying for college, and they're putting aside trust funds and all that stuff. And they're like, I think the oldest sibling is 20 years old. They just use GoPros and then edit it themselves. And it's like, you don't need all this fancy equipment. You just have to have good content, and you have to be able to connect with your audience. And so with Mometu, that's what we're giving them, that bridge, that gap, that bridges the gap between the user and the filmmaker. I mean, one of our top performing films is a film called Stupid Games. They won gold at the Telly Awards for ultra low budget film. Their film was made for $7,800,
Mm,
and it is a phenomenal single location, kind of more of a, I would say, entry to horror type film.
hmm.
It's not a slasher. It's not something. It's a thing where these 3 girls, 3 guys get together and they play a board game, and the board game starts playing them back, almost like a horror adult version of Jumanji.
Oh,
But it's done for $7,800. It was a very passionate group of people that said, "Hey, let's just get together and make a film and see where it takes us." And that's a big hit. So if that sounds of interest to you, if you're listening to this,
yeah,
go
right.
check
I
out
think that's what
Stupid
people want.
Games. It's a great film.
I think people want to see something that has, it's not because what we see from Hollywood a lot of times is you just keep on getting the same movie remade over and over.
Yeah.
You get the same story or the sequel to the same franchise, and they keep on rerunning it. Different actors doing the same story over and over.
Sequels, remakes,
Yeah, and it's like where are the new ideas?
live
Like,
action stuff. I mean, all the stuff they're putting into Moana. Like,
yeah, it's just people. It's just like I was talking to a guy that was like a record like companies or people who actually have recording studios for musicians is kind of like was passe because everybody can have, like, I mean, I have my own home studio, but the
yep,
thing is like there's something about if you're a band, a live band that plays instruments, actually going into a recording studio, there's a level of discipline with the recording and this stuff, and there's some of that's coming back because people want a certain vibe. And if you give people a way to get to it, that's not oppressive, right? You find people that just need an opportunity to get recorded,
yeah,
in a good way or to get on a streaming service. Like what you're doing is like you got to sometimes you need a partner. You need like you have your service to get that from out of the phone or off of
yep,
wherever platform they're doing it and put it on to a wider, you know, like out in the ether so
yeah.
more people can get eyes on it.
I mean, look at Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah.
He did okay, right? He's pretty well known around the world.
Yeah.
He started out as just a home recording kind of kid on Facebook. I believe it was Facebook where Usher found him.
Mhm.
It's like, and I think he was what, like 13, 14 years old or something like that.
People get found on TikTok and
All the
Facebook and
time, all the
SoundCloud and
time.
like all these low like underground platforms. It's kind of like
Yeah,
where you used to have like an A&R guy going to all the little clubs looking for the next thing.
Yep.
And now you have to do that kind of in the ether, in the net. You have to go
Yeah.
looking around for these, like everybody's got these new apps. We're getting this
Mhm.
tech revolutions, like you have an app, somebody's got a podcast, somebody's on TikTok, and then
Yeah.
people are finding people because this is the new venue. The new venue is out, on in the net.
Yeah,
That's
we talked about comics earlier a little bit, and Kill Tony, right? The Kill Tony podcast has been on for years, and it's 2.5 hours long of a bunch of unknowns that put their names in a bucket and hope their name gets pulled, and they get 60 seconds to tell some jokes and have an interview. And that is what potentially could deem them being successful or not. And because of that, there's a new cast member on SNL named Cam. And Cam is on there because he got found on Kill Tony.
yeah.
Right? You
It's
got
a
this
new
like Ari Matty, this comedian from Ukraine that came over. I think he's Ukrainian or similar nearby. But either way,
mhm,
like he's an unknown name. Like he's now really well known in the comedy scene. And then there's this other guy named Timmy No Breaks who came out of nowhere, and he's not like a very funny like written comic. He's just a very good crowd working comic. And but
mhm,
again, he was a random bucket pull on Kill Tony. So this is a podcast that's grown over years that is now, it's listened to on YouTube and all the different places like that now there's like so much social media content out that you can just find someone you're like, man, I think that guy's funny. I'm going to follow this new comedian now. You never would have seen these guys at these
yeah,
little a little comedy club in Austin, Texas you would never seen them, right? Like
yeah.
that you'd have to be in Austin to find them. So yeah,
Yeah, that's the old world, is like you have to see some
100%.
A&R
Yeah.
guy, some talent agent happens to find you, and then they move you. Like what happened to Hendrix.
Yeah.
Some guy saw him at the Cafe Wa, and Chad Chandler then brought him to England, and then Jagger and Richards and McCartney all saw him,
Yeah.
right? They saw him in the club playing. Damn,
Yep.
right? But unless Chad Chandler, he was from the Animals, he was happened to be in New York, went to the Cafe Wa, and it's like, who's this Hendrix cat? Right? That's how you had to get found. But now you could be found, because you're on TikTok or YouTube, or you're doing something like
I
in the
mean, Taylor,
ether.
Taylor Swift found Ed Sheeran randomly, like heard his music somewhere and was just like, this kid's awesome. And you see Ed Sheeran and you're like, you are not an A-list looking star.
Yeah,
He
but
is
not
just so
everybody.
freaking talented,
Yeah,
right?
but not
Like,
everybody. Yeah, that's like Dylan. I mean, Dylan was not the voice like back in the early '60s, like 65, 66,
yeah,
right? Columbia looked at him and is like, the recording engineers, they actually were kind of pushing back and like, why is this kid in here? Right? Because he's like, his voice was not Sinatra. It wasn't Nat King Cole. It wasn't what they were used to engineering.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then they like look at what he's saying. Like look at this writing. And then they
The
were like,
life
oh,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
his writing skill, like he was writing what other writers had never even got anywhere near to it. That level of his lyricism. And
yep,
then they said, well, maybe we can excuse the fact that he doesn't have this like 5-star voice. So
yeah.
that opened up the whole world of songwriters saying you don't have to have a pitch perfect voice. You
Mhm.
can actually have really good writing, you know.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, again, tying back into Mometu, that's why I'm passionate every day, and that's why it drives me every single day to do what I do because it's giving an opportunity to these filmmakers who just they have great stories, they have great content. They may not have had the budget to
Mhm.
make a film a certain way or have the marketing. If they made an absolute banger, just the market, they just need some type of
Yeah.
push.
You need that push because that's like there's so many, there's a tendency to just want to regurgitate whatever's hitting it, and you get one people just trying to clone something
Yeah.
that was successful, and
Yep.
it's hard to actually look for the new talent because you take a risk. Like when you're going for the new talent that maybe isn't in the mold, right,
Yeah.
of what is hitting right now, but
Yep.
will be the new thing. And so you have to have like some passion, and you have to have have I guess the patience, but also the eye or the ear and the vision, to look at these kids, look at what people are doing, and say, hey, this should be hidden, this
Yep.
should be seen, because this is a new take on something. And I'm more excited about finding a new thing than finding, oh, that's the thing I'm comfortable with, a thing that's safe.
Yeah. I mean, those listening that are like millennials and older will get excited about this analogy. The younger folks they may not understand it, but they probably heard about it. Is the analogy of Blockbuster. Mometu is the middle aisles, right? Like you go to Netflix, you go to Hulu, you go to Apple, like those are the outside aisles. Those are the where they're promoting those films. They have big banners, big posters. They have like, what's new, new releases, all that stuff. That's around the outside
Yeah, the
of
inside the
of a
block.
blockbuster.
Yeah,
The middle are those deep cuts. The middle are those unknowns. The
the
middle are like
indie films,
you
like the
spend
foreign
yeah,
films.
the indie films, the stuff that is just like the deep cuts, the things that you could spend hours almost like being at a library and spend hours in these middle aisles looking at these the cover art and reading the synopsis of these films to find what you want to really watch on a Friday night.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
you may go there Wednesday, Thursday, and then finally pick out what you wanted Friday and hope no one else took it, you know?
That was the good thing about Blockbuster because you physically went in, you get to those middle aisles. I'm a child of 7 and 58. So, I grew up with that.
Yeah,
Like we would go, a bunch of my friends when we were in our 20s, and we would go to the Blockbuster and look for the horror films, look for the B films, look
for
for
sure.
unknown films,
Yeah,
or go and like, hey, let's go, like go get all these Bogart films, like go get all these Orson Welles films, go watch The Third Man, go
yeah.
watch Touch of Evil. Even though that wasn't what's happening now, it's like let's dive into it. Let's go and look at for this stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
you'd really enjoy what we're doing. I mean, we have a whole section of just like what we call silver star icons, and we have like any movie that like Vincent Price, Humphrey Bogart, Audrey Hepburn, Katherine Hepburn, Betty
Mhm.
Davis. Like we have this whole
Film
section
noir, film noir. I love that stuff.
of just silver screen icons and just the films and shows and stuff that they've in. Charlie Chaplin's in there and some short films that he's done and everything. So we have a whole collection of just that.
That
Then
kind
we
of
have a
stuff.
whole section of like just broken down by genres. So like you get into the app and you can see it by horror, comedy, drama, action, thriller. And a lot of these films, I'm not gonna. They're not all indie. Like they're most of them are. They're not studio films for sure, but some
Mhm.
of them are international films too. So like some of these were massive box office hits in other countries,
Other
and we've
countries,
brought
yeah.
them here. So like we have a whole section of just world cinema, like our Korean collection,
Oh, I love Korean.
and Korean films are such a big hit right now.
Oh, yeah. I
There's
watch a
another
lot of
resurgence
Japanese, and
happening.
I was watching John Woo films before anybody was. I was into Jackie Chan films before anybody was really into those,
Yep,
and I lived in Japan for a long time, and I was always into a lot of, Kurosawa type of stuff, but,
dude,
I w
we have a whole section of just we call it Japanwood. It's just all Japanese films.
yeah,
It's phenomenal, but the Korean section is probably our
Korean drama,
strongest as far as
K-drama,
like
yeah.
Asian cinema. That's probably our strongest country that we have represented because it's not just K dramas. We also have K horror, K thriller, K crime.
We got
Like we have
Taiwan
all.
too. I watch a lot of stuff,
Oh
Chinese
yeah,
stuff, Chinese stuff from Taiwan,
Hong
uh,
Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yeah,
This I just 'cause I lived in Japan for 2 years, and then I got connected to a lot of stuff that was coming out of Hong Kong, stuff that was coming out of, Busan and Seoul
yep,
and Taiwan, and I just like, wow, this stuff is coming from a different angle. A lot of their
yeah,
things, the historical dramas I like the criminal stuff, I like
yeah,
the kind of, even the TV shows, like they go to places that
yeah,
American TV shows don't go.
for
And
sure, for
and
sure.
and is this seeing a cultural perspective, different cultural perspectives, it just being a creative, I think it's just interesting to get as many inputs as possible and different points of view. And it's cool that your service that you're giving people some of that international stuff. You're giving people
Yep.
like maybe their historical stuff, plus the independent stuff, the new stuff. So I think that's really a good place to be because the more you digest, the better you're like, oh, now I can maybe I'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of
Yeah,
that. It gives you more, of a
yeah.
palette.
It's what we call underserved content. So like we use that word much more than say indie, international, classic. Like we can all say all those things, but like really, it's underserved content. It's stuff that doesn't get enough eyeballs on it. or
Mhm.
just doesn't make its way over to the States as prevalent. And the cool thing that we do, Phantom, is that we do all of our curation by hand. So, like, if people are wondering, like, what makes Mometu stand out, not just the content wise, but it's also how we present the content.
Mhm.
And so, like, oh, excuse me. So, when we put up our content, it's all done by our team. We expose you to different stuff all the time. So, like, when you go to a platform, typically you're going to have a profile made for you. They're going to ask you when you first sign up with that service or download that service, they're going to tell you or ask you questions of like, what actors do you like? What movies do you like? What directors do you
Oh,
like? What genre do you like? And they build this portfolio for you, this profile that they think this is the type of content you're going to like based on what you clicked. And then as you watch more, that algorithm dictates what you get what you get shown. And so even on a bigger platform like a Netflix, you may only see maybe 3 to 5% of the content that they have on their platform because the
yeah,
algorithm is only going to show you what they think you're going to find
yeah.
or find
Kinda like
interesting,
the
find
net. The
attractive.
net's kinda designed to show you what they think you want.
100%. Yeah, when you Google stuff and and you go on YouTube and whatever, like it's all the same stuff, right? They use what you've seen, what you've clicked on, what you've liked, what you spent maybe even on like Instagram and TikTok, like as you're scrolling, people don't realize is as you stop and watch a video, even if you don't engage with it, they're going to show you another video similar to that
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
if it's something that you want to see again. And if you don't engage with that second video or maybe the third video, they don't show you anything else that's a lookalike to that, and they're going to show you something else, something similar. Very similar to the fact when you're in your kitchen and you say something around Alexa or Siri, they start serving you ads based on what you said and
yeah,
talked about.
everything's yeah, I mean,
It's
I'm
so
always getting
scary, right?
musical equipment showing up because, I'm
Because
always
you, yeah,
looking
you're a
at the
musician.
latest gear, and then boom, it's like, "Oh, here's a new drum machine, here's a new synth, here's a new dog, this."
Yeah.
But it's like
So
but
that's
the
what
thing
we decided to go against that
yeah, I
because
think
it's
it's
such a crazy
important.
thing. We decided to go a hand curated route because we want to expose you to stuff. Like,
Something
I
different.
want to show Phantom if Phantom's really big into horror films and that's all you're seeing is B horror films, right? Like, just say, like, that's your thing, and you're all into B horror, like, the algorithm typically would have presented you only
More.
that.
Yeah, more of that.
But when you come to our platform, you can get into the horror real easily. Go to genres, go to horror, and you're just immersed in a world of just horror. When you come to Mometu on the homepage, we show you content we think is interesting, that we wanna give a chance to be seen. And
Yeah.
so you end up getting a thing of classic content, you get a thing of Korean content, you get a thing of stuff from Nollywood, from Nigeria, you get, maybe some comedy if we wanna showcase, like, that stand-up comedy that we had.
Mhm.
So, we show you some stuff, may interest you, may not.
Yeah, it's kinda
We're
like a
kinda taking
pitch
a gamble at that point.
I think it's kinda like you think about like a pitchfork editor. They've been doing this thing where they go they say, "We think that you would like this," right? And it might be this genre you would never checked out, but it's like, "Hey, this is my thought of what a 10, 5, you know,
Yeah.
star record is." Right?
Yep.
And, editors like I used to get Rolling Stone there, I would see like where are all the five-star records no matter what the genre. So if they got 5 stars, and if it was country or hip hop or rock or punk
Yeah.
or jazz,
You
I
wanna
would
know what's
check
the
it out.
best.
Or whatever they're recommending. So,
Yep.
like, sometimes if you get these curated because it's good, because this is something different, right? So you get this
Yeah.
curated thing from the experience of people who are curating stuff, and you get like, "Oh, wow." I say, I'm looking forward to what they're recommending.
Yep. We have a section of that too, like, on our homepage, it's literally just a bar of what's the most popular stuff over the last 7 days. It's kind of how it's built out. So, like, based on what other people are watching and looking at, and based on the watch time of how long they've watched it and all that stuff, like, that is what it's based off of.
Mhm.
And so, like, that's really cool because you're like, "Oh, well, what are other people enjoying right now?"
Yeah, it's not just what you want.
Maybe that's something different and new. And but again, like, getting back to the idea of you're really into big into horror, right? And you watch a lot of horror, like, you're gonna have that all presented, but then if you watch, say, like, 2, 3 Korean films, and all of a sudden you're like, "Man, this stuff's really cool. I'm so glad I got exposed to it." Right? Like,
Mhm.
that's kinda the idea is that
Yeah. To
we
give
get to kinda
people
get people to interesting stuff that they typically wouldn't get presented to them other places.
'cause people tend to stay in their safe zone, their comfort zone. And,
Yeah.
artists, we tend to kind of go to the outer edge of the bell curve. Like we
Yes.
tend to push it, right?
Yes.
And then people get upset because sometimes like your fans, like they are still stuck on your second album, but you might have gone like, I'm actually here now,
True.
right? I'm not doing what I did when I was 17. And
Yep.
you might only like what I did when I was 17, and that's fine, but I am not there. Right. And so maybe there's a new group of fans that likes what I'm doing here. Like, when Miles went to Fusion from bebop, he lost a lot of bebop guys because they couldn't get into it. They
Yep.
say, I don't understand the fusion. But that's fine. It's fine you don't understand it, but I'm still
Taking
gonna
a
go
chance
here.
creatively and doing something that you've either always wanted to do or you hear something different. I mean, people give Post Malone a lot of crap for, transitioning so many different genres over his short time, but
Yeah.
it's like,
That's
hey man, the guy's talented creatively and he has these backgrounds. Like maybe he's not a country singer, but like he's really enjoying the culture. He's really tapping into the culture of country, and then he had a whole album that was just a bunch of other country artists guest, kind of performing on songs with him, which was so smart because he's not a country singer, but
yeah,
he's
I
finding the
mean,
most love and support with all of the mental stuff that's going on in his head that he's dealing with. Like normally we'd see like a Kurt Cobain type stuff kind of happen where you no longer have them, a Chester from Linkin Park, like you no longer have them, right? Like I'm forgetting the rapper from Seattle, I believe. Um what's his name? Totally forget. But again, lost him to suicide too, right?
yeah.
Overdosing. So like you get someone like Post where you can tell he is hurting
Mhm.
and he's just trying to find acceptance and love, and like because of having Jelly Roll on his tour, like there was a video that I saw of like Jelly Roll telling him like, "Hey man, I love you and I'm so grateful for you and you're just such a kind soul." And you could see the emotions breaking Post Malone down to like he found the love that he needed, right? So like people are just searching, maybe they're not searching creatively musically, they're searching for something else, but using music as a vessel too. So we never know what's going on behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, you're gonna love the artist, you're not, and it's okay, but you're gonna love maybe something they did before and maybe not what they're doing now. That's okay, right? They're on their own journey.
Yeah, everybody's on their own journey, and don't get mad at them. He's like
Yeah,
this, like they're gonna go where they're gonna go, you're gonna go where you're gonna go. And I think it's just cool to be a little bit more expansive. Like I think like we've been taught in this kind of age of the algorithm to stay in lanes, to
for sure.
stay with your tribe. Like
Stay
I'm on the
what is that
net,
as a kid? Stay in the lines. The lines are
yeah,
our friends.
and I like I've always been a child of the '70s. I was all over the map. I'm listening to Zappa, I'm listening to Sun Ra, I'm listening to Jefferson
Yeah.
Airplane. I like the Clash, right? I like hip hop. I like everything. My dad was
Yeah.
playing jazz. My brother was playing Zeppelin. My mom was playing the Carpenters, right? And my brother
Yeah.
liked James Brown. It's like in the house, everything's there,
Phantom, we're
right?
the same, man. We're the same in that sense, man. I'm so eclectic with my music. I could be listening to like, drum and bass or like kind of trap music, whatever, like in the gym, just something with a heavy beat and just getting me in the zone. I might listen to some more chill house music while I'm working so that I can just try to get something where it's like the behind the background beat with no lyrics and just kind of get me
Mhm.
moving. But man, I love country music. I love like hip hop music. I actually did when I went to a private Christian school for college, and I took like this music 101 class. And of all the different genres and everything we had to do a kind of a history paper on a history of a genre, and they wanted you to go deeper into more of a subgenre. And I was
Mhm.
the only one at this, pretty much 95% white school to do the history of rap and hip hop. And it was just so awesome to dive deep into that because like
Yeah, it's
there was
always
so much music that I loved and growing up, and mostly because of my brother. But like I fell in love with rap and hip hop and R&B and just like at the same time I can get into the car and just jam out to Dave Matthews. And like it's just like there's so much music that I just grew up over the lifetime of the last 40 years of my life of just generations of music. And even going back to, man, the white cassette tape that my mom had of like the Judds, if you know the Judds. I mean, listening to music with her and like going to a Garth Brooks concert, and it's just like
Yeah.
that's kind of where my country comes from. But like also sitting down with my dad and listening to Andrea Bocelli and
Yeah.
just hearing the beauty of his voice and just like the times where I've really enjoyed that music is sitting back and just closing my eyes because Andrea Bocelli is blind, and it just like, okay, I want to enjoy the music as he enjoys the music,
Mhm.
and it just really feeling those vibes and like, yeah, man, this the eclecticness of music is so beautiful. But most of the time, like you said, the algorithms keep us in a specific lane, and
Yeah.
it is so like it is so unfortunate that people like don't get exposed to like the culture of music and the history of music. And I mean, it kind of relates to world travel too, right? Getting out and traveling the world and
Yeah.
seeing different parts of
Checking
the
out different
different parts
things.
of the
Yeah.
world and different countries, and how people don't just take what the media shows us for face value. Like, go there, visit there, meet the people, get your feet on the ground. Like, it is so worth it. It just it gives you so much value in your life, and the memories of traveling are so important. But again, that relates to anything, music, film, whatever, just being cultured and really getting to the depths of all these things. So yeah, you're it's been kind of fun to talk about music here because I normally don't talk about music on podcasts because everything is usually about movies
Yeah.
and
But
the
I think
streaming service and all that stuff. So this has been kind of
there's
fun.
a kinda, like, intersection because,
Yeah.
the variety of genres, like, between music, music has multiple many genres, subgenres.
Yeah.
Film does too. And, film and music, they can cross pollinate because, there's always a music within a film.
Yeah.
Directors use
And
music
it's
to
art.
kind of express things,
It's art.
It's all
I mean,
art.
I live in an area, so I in Southern California that really nearby to Laguna Beach, and there's in Laguna Beach there during the summertime they have this art uh, festival. It's all summer long, and it's called Pageant of the Masters. And then they have all these art exhibits, and you get to see all these different mediums of people doing woodworking and
Mhm.
metalwork and glass blowing and you know different types of painting. And if you actually I have my camera here. If you look up like above here, my
Wow.
grandfather
That's
was a painter,
wow.
and so he did a lot of abstract art.
Abstract art. That's cool.
I have like 7 of his paintings. He lived in Europe, and I have like 7 of his paintings around my house. And he passed away in 2019, 2020, right before COVID.
Mhm.
But like he was 96, lived an amazing life. But man, to just appreciate art as a whole,
Yeah.
it's all the different
I get
mediums
up in
of
the morning.
yeah,
I
dude,
like
like I
art to
get it.
me is like is the driver because like when you appreciate art and you want to talk to as many artists as you can,
Yeah.
right, to get different points of view, to learn about like how do they see the world. I think it's super important. What I think is really cool, I've been watching lately on the net, I've been watching these people that are discovering music. Like there's a lot of this going on the net where these YouTube channels, you get these hip hop guys who are going back and they're listening to like Yes, or you get a classic musician and they're listening to punk rock,
Yeah.
and they're
Sampling.
cross genre and saying, I never
Yep.
listened to Johnny Lydon, I never listened to the Clash, or I never even knew about Pearl Jam or something. So you get somebody that was never ever touched that genre, never
For
heard it
sure.
ever, and then they actually see them embrace it, and you're like, wow, this is cool to get these people to cross culturally experience something that they would have never checked out because they're kind of told like stay in your lane, like you said.
Yep. Yep. I love those Ren, the artist Ren,
Yeah.
REN. So here like seeing people that the live reaction videos of his music are just I love that. Like it's so many different people from all walks of earth, and then even like the reaction videos that are out there about like listening to like Gen Z listening to some of Eminem's first albums.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
It's
of
just cool
this
to
stuff
see
you said,
people experience it.
it's crazy. Like just yeah, I mean everyone has these like oh my gosh, like or is just like ooh that's beautiful, right? Like there's so many different things that you're able to experience because of streaming, because of the accessibility, and and again tying it back to Mometu,
That's what you're
that's why
trying
we're
to
doing
do.
what we're doing. Like that's why we built this app. That's why we're bringing on artists that just need an opportunity to have their content be seen. And so at the end of the day, we have the film festival's beautiful. Like there's a podcast that obviously I host
Yeah.
that I think is on the bottom of the screen right there, the Mometu podcast, or it's which actually More for Me and You podcast. But that's what Mometu stands for, More for Me and You. And so we're doing all these things that is great. We have more to come. Like we have a lot more ideas that we'd like to do to help support these independent filmmakers, these underserved content creators, but we need people to go and download the app. So
Download
like if
the
you're
app.
listening, like take a moment, like don't do it for us, do it for you and do it for the filmmakers. Give yourself the opportunity to see content you've never seen or never would see on other platforms, but then also go support these filmmakers that, we have thousands of filmmakers that have films on our platform and they just deserve an opportunity. They deserve a chance. And their content may be on other platforms, but because of how the algorithms work, they may never get seen. And because
Yeah.
we do it all by
Yeah.
hand, we're gonna give you that opportunity to see some stuff that's just way different and unique. And hopefully we become that. If we're not the first option for you, that's okay. Maybe we're your second option when you spend 30 minutes after cooking your dinner and you can't find something on Netflix because the algorithm's not giving you anything new, and you're like, my food's cold, I haven't watched anything yet. Instead of going to my backup, the show that's my fallback, like for me is Suits. Right? I love the show Suits right
Yeah.
now. That's I'm working back through the series. Instead of that, go check out something completely new and unique and different on
There's an,
Mometu
yeah.
and see what happens. Give yourself
I
a
think
chance.
it's that's what I was going to ask about the podcast. What you do with that? So, do you
Yeah.
interview your filmmakers, or what do you do on the podcast?
Yeah, I've done 34 episodes this year with different people. We film it in Hollywood. We have a little studio that we do with a company called Keyframe Productions. And so we we wanted to sit down with an eclectic mix of people. So it's not just filmmakers. Some of them
Hmm.
are. So I've sat down with a handful of them over the 34 episodes. I would say probably at least 15 to 20% of them have been filmmakers that are on our platform, and that's kind of like to coincide with like the release of their film or maybe an award they won or whatever like
Hmm.
that. Um, we've also had executives on, so business owners. We've had that are in the entertainment spectrum.
Hmm.
We've had a couple comedians come on. So we've had actually a few now. So we had Jen Kober, we had Catherine Yoon, and then Greg Berman, who has the special on Mometu. Greg Berman. We've had those three comedians on. We've had some content creators. So we've had uh, a gentleman that goes by the name of Straw Hat Goofy. His name
Hmm.
is Juju Green. He came on. We did an episode together. Had Josh Levesque, who's a horror content creator. We had Stony the Great come on and talk about and do like a with Stony. We did kind of a cool episode where we actually did a kind of an overview of Mometu with his audience. That was really fun.
That's cool.
So we've had a whole mix of people. We've had some Big Brother alumni that are
Awesome.
so Kyland Young and Taylor Hale they're actually partners on The Amazing Race this season. So that's really cool. So we got both of them on. And the whole idea behind the podcast is not just to, just talk about what they're doing now. Like
Hmm.
everyone knows what you're doing now. Like that's everyone talks about that. Our biggest thing is we wanted to go back and tell the journey of how they
How,
got to where they got to.
story. You're telling
So
a
like,
story. Yeah.
yeah, I have them open up about where they're from, what they were like as a kid, how they decided that they wanted to get into this industry, and where was that breaking point? What was the thing that, whether it was the piece of content from the content creators that made them go viral one day, or what was that comedy tour or show that was just the most impactful that like you knew you wanted to be a comedian for the rest of your life, like
Hmm.
those types of conversations. Then we also do a thing called This or That, which is like a 20 questions, random stuff that I throw at them just to kind of get them know them deeper. And then
Hmm.
we do also do a movie review on a movie that they pick that can be found on Mometu. So it's been really cool over the
That's cool.
34 episodes to see
What
all
they
the
pick.
different types of, yeah, like there's been some films I'm like, I didn't think you were gonna pick something like this. Like it was just so off the wall
Yeah, that's a good
that
thing to do because then you never know what somebody's taste what it is
And it's
until you
usually something
find
they
out.
never seen, right? And that was really cool about Taylor's episode was Taylor Hale, she had never seen Night of the Living Dead. I mean, this is
Oh,
a classic horror film
that's classic.
that
Yeah,
almost defined the modern zombie. I mean, it's like
yeah,
this
that is.
film is a banger and
That's
it
The
is so
Walking Dead right
historically
there.
important, right? Yeah, no joke. Like if people see zombies as they are today, like that's
That's
Night
the
of the Living
start of
Dead.
it. Yeah, that's. I
That
mean,
was that was that was George A. Romero's version of a zombie. They weren't technically zombies in the film, but like that's what it kind of started as and created as like what we know zombies as today. And so it was so cool to do that film because it was something I had seen multiple times and
mhm.
we did the review on it because she had never seen it.
That's
And I
always
was just like, man, I'm like, wow, how many people have not seen this film? Like
yeah.
to really think about that, like that was crazy.
I think
But
sometimes
that's
we assume, and like in my age, I assumed
yeah,
everybody's like seen these John Carpenter movies, and like my
yeah.
daughter's life is hard to see in any, right? Because that was like a '70s thing. I mean, it's John Carpenter, that was '70s, right? My daughter's like, she's
Halloween was
25.
1978. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, she doesn't know anything about those, and she's not really
Yeah.
had never had an interest in checking it out. So a lot of times people like you find like, whoa, they never actually got into that. And so
Yeah.
it's cool to see somebody's eyes like light up or how they take it. I think it's really cool when you give people an opportunity to try something like what you're doing with the platform. You're doing it with the podcast because you're asking people these questions to kind of find out who they are, and then
Yeah.
you ask them to check out a movie maybe they hadn't thought of checking out before, and you're looking at different, allowing people to get different genres other than what the algorithm would normally give them.
Yep.
I think that's really cool what you're doing.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cross interaction between the platform and the festival, the platform and the podcast,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
both from the festival and the podcast back to the platform. Like it's intermingling with each other. But at the end of the day, again, to reiterate, without Mometu as a service, there is no festival, there is no
yeah.
podcast. So we
You have a whole
really need more than
ecosystem.
ever. Like if you want to help support independent creators, go download the app, go check out some movies yourself, go watch it for yourself. And don't just stop there. Go tell your friends, like go tell your family members, like this will be kind of the nice little stocking stuffer that won't cost you a single penny this season because it's
Yeah,
free. It's free to
that's
download,
cool.
free to use. It's all ad supported. You will not have to pay a dime. And we split the revenues that we make on the from the ads. We split it with the filmmakers.
Well,
So it's
that's
going to go
cool.
right back into their pockets too. So like we're doing a thing that's it's a help me help you across the board. So like
Just the way
do
like
yourself
TV used to work.
yeah. Yeah.
Like the regular TV, your landline TV, like this open air TV, like the people got money because there's like the soap commercials, because if you have the commercials, that's how everybody got their money from the
Yep, yep,
the watch it all in the family reruns, because you got selling the soap on there and you getting the money.
yep.
But I want people to go check out the QR code we've had up. If you scan that goes right to your website, and right from there, people can check that out.
Does that
Uh,
go to it goes to mometu.com?
yeah, I have it going right there. Yeah,
I'm gonna scan it myself. Look at that. I'm gonna scan it, make sure. Let's go. Let's see this. Look at that right there.
yeah,
Right on your phone, go to Mometu. If you scroll
easy.
down there, you can not only download the app right on your phone, but if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see what devices that
It's on
you
there.
can download. You can download Mometu right there and see
There's
what devices
Apple,
you're in.
like Samsung, all that.
Vizio, Roku, yeah, Roku and Fire TV are the most prevalent, right? Because most people have those devices, but or like a Roku television or anything like that. But
Oh, cool.
yeah,
That's
Samsung,
awesome.
Vizio, TCLs, all that stuff. We're all there. And again, you can download it for free, free to use. We'll never charge a subscription. That's going to be something we're going to stay firm on because we want the ability and the accessibility for everyone to
Accessibility.
find it.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to get people into independent film, you want to not make the price of admission like so too
Yeah,
steep, or people won't check it out.
there is zero risk, Phantom. There's zero risk. It's all reward. It's
Yeah,
okay because if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's okay. We're not going to be for everyone. But I promise you, there's going to be something on
there's
there
gonna be
that you will
sounds like there's
enjoy.
something
There's
on there.
something you can enjoy. And if you're looking for anything as far as like, what should I watch? What should I check out? Go follow us on Instagram. So go to our Instagram page, go to @freemometu. So Mometu is free, @freemometu. Go to our Instagram page, you give us a follow, and you're gonna get recommendations, like little clips from different movies that we have. You're gonna get like movies of the week. We've worked with a bunch of different content creators that do lists and stuff. So we'll share in our stories, like stuff that they're doing. Like I talked about Josh Levesque. He's doing what's called Mometu Tuesdays. And every Tuesday he recommends 2 films that are in the horror genre that he really enjoys or he's checked out recently or something that looks interesting. Sony the Great's doing that. He's doing some stuff like list of 5 films within a certain kind of fun whatever list that he's going to do at that time. And then we have a girl named Kaylee from Black Box Horror that does, she's really big on found footage horror, so she loves found footage films. She doesn't always just do found footage, but like she typically will highlight 3 found footage films or 3 horror films that really resonate with her on every Wednesday. And
That's
then
awesome.
I think it's every Wednesday or Thursday. We also do something with a guy named Harry Marks, who is on TikTok is known as at Lobby Intros or Let's All Go to the Lobby. And he's a classic film historian. So he does these like old school, like 2 to 3 minute introductions on classic films, like kind of like Robert Osborne did on TCM. And
Yeah,
he
I
does
would
that. He
be
is
into
so
that.
good. He is
I like
so
that.
good. So go to listen, like you can follow, like go on YouTube or Instagram, whatever, like you for @freemometu, you can watch all of Harry's introductions. He's
I'm
done
gonna
over
probably go
50
watch
of
that
them over
right
the
after
last
this.
year.
Okay,
Yeah, man, he's
I'm an
incredible.
old movie like freak. I love TCM. I like
Oh,
that kind of
dude.
thing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna check that because I love finding classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Like again, if everybody scan that, makes it easy. If you're not into scanning that, the links below will be fully clickable. We've been live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick. We will be on platforms like Spotify podcast, video podcast, Apple podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Newsly. By tomorrow, we create a landing page that has everything. We'll send that to you. Plus, we'll send you all the individual links. But yeah, we put some. Since you're on Instagram, we'll tag you with some reels that we'll create from this. And yeah, we like to push it out on multiple platforms on YouTube Shorts and Facebook Reels as well. We'll push some clips out to highlight what we've talked about today.
Love it.
I want to thank you for being on the show.
Dude, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure, Phantom. And I love your show. I love your platform. I love what you're doing for just people across the whole spectrum to kind of talk about what they're doing and how they're supporting, independent creators and the like. So no, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for everything you're doing and getting the word out about Mometu.
Yeah, I think everybody's gonna love this because it's a good thing going into the holiday. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to be on there checking the new stuff and the classic stuff, and I like a little bit of everything. So I'll be kind of having my
For sure. And
smorgasbord
feel
of
and feel free to message us
Mometu.
if you're listening or you Phantom alone. Feel free to message us on socials. Like say, hey, I'm looking for a certain type of film in a certain genre, whatever. What would you recommend? We'd be happy. Our team would be happy to like just let you know, like, hey, this is what's hitting right now. This is something I would check out. This is a deep cut from, whenever. So it's just like we can give you some recommendations too. We'd love to help you out.
That's cool. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
You as well.